bait right there. Here's me face. I know, I normally start working, okay? I'm not working right now, okay? I'm not starting it by working. I got this box I gotta do a review on. If you tow a trailer, you know what that is. These parts I just got are for the oil leak on this thing. And I'm just gonna, if I can do it, change the BCM in this and try to program it. I'm not gonna hurt anything by trying, because I'll still have the BCM for this, but the parts car has a BCM. But this thing has two things. It has a BCM and a CCM. The CCM is a chassis control module, which I don't think we need to change, but it is that. That's the chassis control module. The BCM is up under the dash right here. Supposedly they're both pretty easy to get to, but this issue, I'm not getting any leads to anything. So it's like, try a module. The BCM talks with a lot of things, and it goes over the high speed LIN bus or whatever all that magic hoo-ha is with magic and sparkles and stuff like that, and it makes everything work. But every module talks to that, and then that relays a message to everything else in the car. It's like the brain of the car. It tells everything what everything's doing and communicates with everything else. So if I change that and successfully program it, because you have to program it for the vehicle, I'm not sure if I can even do that, but we're gonna try, and we still have the problem, then we know we have a wiring issue, and it sucks because just not my expertise. The other thing is the oil leak on the back side of the engine. That's what these parts are. So with this scope, I gotta hook it up to my cell phone. I can see back in there. On the very back of the motor, you see this cylinder type shape thing there is a vacuum pump, and that vacuum pump is what runs vacuum from the engine. When you're boosting, it needs extra vacuum and stuff like that, so it creates vacuum. I think that runs, yeah, I believe it goes to the brake booster and stuff like that. But the leak is on that, and I don't know if there's two gaskets. There's a seal on the valve cover and the head, between the valve cover and the head, that seals the camshaft. And then there's another plate, and I'm not even sure if this is the right one, but according to what I've seen online, this was it, that goes between the pump and the head here. So I hope this is correct. I don't know. But anyways, Vevor, I mean, they're hitting me up left and right, and with good things too. This is a storage box for my trailer. It's going to mount on the tongue. You have to drill your own holes to mount it to your trailer. However you want to mount it, you can weld it. I don't care if you weld it. You can do whatever you want. But it's got a nice like textured powder coating finish. It has a lock right here, and I have it locked currently. So, and then it has a foam seal that runs across the lid, keeps it from rattling and stuff. It's rattling on the floor, but I have to go grab the key for this, and I'll show this to you. So it comes with two keys, and it is got a hydraulic arm that lifts the lid. So all this came together. It came shipped like this. Everything's powder coated inside and out. It's steel. It's thin steel, but it's not damaged in any way. You're going to drill your own holes in the bottom and, you know, mount it how you want to. But it's pretty nice setup, especially with the hydraulic lift arm there. But anyways, there's going to be a link to this trailer tongue box in the description. This is going to be great for my trailer, for all my tow straps and tools I want to put on the trailer and stuff when I go to Copart to pick up new projects, if I ever do go back. Yeah, hit VEVOR up. There are so many tools and stuff on there. They are very good priced, and honestly, I have not had a problem with anything I've got from them so far. So even though it's on the cheaper side of things, they work. If you see the table and chairs there, it's just we're remodeling in the house and we're selling stuff. And this is where we're putting everything to storage, in my garage. So since electrical is not really my thing, and I'm going to try that here a little bit later, let me show you this leak on the back side of the motor. You've seen it on the ground, but let me try to get my scope back there and show it to you guys. Alright. So I'm going to try to get it back here to where I can see it. Lots of oil in this area right here, and this is the highest spot on the motor. As you go down from it, you can see that's more of the pump right there. There's the bottom of the pump. Look how oily that is. So I need to get all of these bolts out of this thing, try to get it off of the car. Yeah, somebody might have already did this job and they just didn't do a good job when they did it. Don't honestly know how we're gonna get that seal in, but we're gonna try it. Once you get that pump off, it gives you a little bit of room there. And I don't honestly know where this goes, so we'll have to, yeah, we'll have to figure it out. So looking at this, didn't cost me much for that seal, but if you look at that, it is clean the whole way around where that seal went. And being that it's on the back side of the motor, and it would be very hard for me to replace, and then to even get it in there right and for it to seal again, I'm gonna leave the original one in. I got it just in case. This is definitely our culprit right here, and this pump should be cleaned up. This thing clips, this gasket clips on here, so you don't have to worry about it coming off when you put it on there. But there's dirt in the screen, there's dirt all around the back side of this, so I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to take it over to my parts washer, just spray it down with brake clean and everything. Then we are going to slap it back in with a new gasket, and this is the gasket I got, thankfully. When I looked it up on Amazon, I looked up that seal, and this came up underneath recommended with the seal, and I was like, well, let's get them both just in case. Definitely was this, and definitely gonna fix the issue. Okay, so there's one thing I don't like on this, and then there's something I need to go check my footage for. I don't know that this has to be oriented a certain way, but one of these cams here, the ones that fit in the cam, one of them has a mark on it, and this spun. I was trying not to touch it because I didn't want it to move, and it moved on its own. So I need to go check my footage and see how it was oriented when I took it out. I can look at the cam with the scope. And then the other thing is, look at the machine surface on this. It's got like like it's machined different. It appears flat, but I don't know if somebody smashed this. I don't know. It looks like machining marks, but it looks like there was imperfections in it. This new gasket came in a GM bag, and then there was a bag in that said made in China, but it's a stamped metal gasket with material on it, so I'm hoping that we don't have a problem with that. But I'm gonna go ahead. I was thinking about putting RTV on it, and I was like, no, it's a stamped gasket. It's gonna smash, and I love when I get the smash. There you go. So I cleaned this. I cleaned the backside of the motor, but oil keeps running out of it, so I'm gonna have to wipe it right before I try to put this in, and hope that this lines up with the cam. But let me go check my footage so I can orient this thing right. I can never make up my mind. Oh, my light went dead. It is oriented right. According to the picture, that's how I thought it spun, but that's the way I had it when it came out. I'm going to go ahead and do that seal. I mean, it's like, why not? I don't know how hard it's going to be to do, but I'm going to try to do it. I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get enough pressure on it to get it in there. I don't know. I need to see which direction it's in there on the old one. Alright, it goes in with this out like that in, which is, you look at it, you kind of figure that out. Got my seal puller here, straight screwdriver, and I just got to figure out where it's at. Try not to gouge the hole. Get it in here. Only part of it came out, not all of it. Alright, I'm going to dig at this for a little bit. I'll show it to you when I get it out. Alright, this should tell you everything you need to know right here. The center came out, and then all I had was this ring in there. And I was fighting with it. What ended up working was a small screwdriver, and I got my fingers back in there so I could feel the back of it, which is up against the collar. And I dug right at the end of it until I got the screwdriver in there, and then twisted the screwdriver until it came out. Another thing is this back bolt on this is a pain in the butt to get. There's a temperature sensor back there, and there's a plug that's like right in front of this bolt. So you have to get that plug off blindly and then get a ratchet back in there to get that off. I guess these are pretty well known for going out. You normally have a bunch of debris in here whenever they do go bad, and then these, it normally locks up, and then these break. Sometimes they break and go into the head. Fun stuff. Ours is working. New seal, which I'm glad I did now. I'm going to go ahead and wipe back in there and then put that new seal in the best that I can, and wipe a little bit of oil around there. That'll help that go in. Now, when your mother asks what them fingers can do, just tell them that they can change out a vacuum pump on a GM motor. So, new seal's in. Did you see what I drove in the seal with? I mainly pushed it in with my fingers because you can get really good leverage, so I just kind of went around the edge. Then, I took this dolly and just got back in there with my hand and just tapped around it. And it went in till it seated. So I did it without taking the window. The only thing I didn't do was hook that vacuum line back up, which is simple enough to do. Just get it over here and clip it down on. right there. Now, here, I'll show you. I don't know if I cleaned up really good back here, but there it is. There's the bottom of it. There's a coolant line right here because there's a T back in here, which looks like it might actually be leaking. I accidentally took that bolt out first, but that's the wrong one. I got that coolant sensor plugged back in, but I'm kind of suspicious that that might be leaking. But when I loosened that up, I probably leaked coolant anyways. So, yes, it got a mess back in here. I tried spraying it. Anyways, I'm going to start it up. It's probably going to smoke a little bit, but we got that job done, thankfully. Alright, so now we're running. Before we get too hot in here, let's just make sure we're not spewing out oil everywhere. It's still oily from the previous leak, but right there's the bottom of it. I need to spray in here a lot better. I just didn't get this cleaned off that well. Try to wipe this down a little bit better and then drop wrenches down into the engine bay. Good news, I don't see any oil leaks, at least nothing massive if there is an oil leak, because I can't see it running off of it with the camera. So we should be good there. Now, BCM in under the dash. I'm going to tackle that tomorrow. So, yeah. At least we got one thing done. And I did more. I was like, I'm not going to do the seal. I'm glad I did, because this seal was not long for this world. It's hard. See how it tore apart? It's just not pliable anymore. So, even if I did get it in there and it didn't leak right away, it was on the edge. It was about to leak anyways. So, I'm sure it probably still would have leaked. You see? Do you see all this gibberish? Do you see all this? This is all the BCM. All this. All BCM. What I'm looking at, though, is this group of the BCM is grounded at the left kick panel in the front. And the hazard switch is on that one. Traction control switch. Remote functions, brake applied sensor. I mean, this is a lot of stuff I'm having problems with. Before I change the BCM out, I want to check this left kick panel ground. So one ground we're going to be looking for is down here under the kick plate. So I need to take this up. Maybe. So tight. Without breaking it. My God. There's carpet down here, but I want to get this off of here. There we go. So there's the ground right here. And let me look at it up close. Alright, so I checked the ground. It's good. So, BCM it is. I want to make sure I have good power to this. I'm going to hook a battery charger up to it. And then I'm going to run the computer on it first. Make sure there isn't something like a passcode or something. I don't know how these work. I'll be honest. I've never programmed a BCM, and I don't know if I can do it. Probably can't, but we're going to try. Alright, that and that's out. Right here's our body control module. I already have it popped out, but I had to take all the connectors off. But before I take all the connectors off, I want to go into the computer and make sure that, like I said, everything, make sure I don't need a pin number or nothing. There is a pin on this body control module, and I don't know if I'm going to need that, or I don't know if they're even the same part number from the ones I'm getting. So let me hook the computer up and see what I can find. I left the thing on here and everything, so, and the battery's still hooked up. So, yeah. Alright. If you need to replace a knee airbag in these, they are very simple. There's two 10s and you can see them with all the panels on. So, yeah, knee airbag, easy replacement. I'm so lost, it's not even funny. BCM went through all the settings in it, and there's nowhere where I can program it with this. But then I'm also not seeing anything in the BCM that has to do with the problems I'm having. So I'm getting no communication with the electronic brake control module. So that is up here. So I need to check the wires on that. No communication with the steering angle sensor. There's a module in the steering column, and I don't know. I don't even know where to start, guys. Going back to all data. I'm going to look at some of these codes that this thing's throwing. I'm lost. Alright, I'm going back out to the garage. They're so... Okay, the main one, I'm thinking now, I have 3 modules. Not talking. The parking brake control module, the inflatable restraint sensing diagnostic module, and the steering wheel angle sensor module. And we already replaced that, and we determined that that's not the problem. The main one here is, I'm thinking, it's the very first one on here, control module communication chassis expansion CAN bus off. Don't ask me what that means. But I got in and viewed all the modules and the fuses related with them. Now, I know I've checked every fuse that I think I have checked every fuse. I'm going to go back through and check them again, okay? Not only do I want to check the fuses, but I want to check how much voltage is going through them, because it says hot at all times. I want to make sure that they're all getting 12 volts. So the main ones I'm looking at in the trunk, it's BCM4, BCM3, BCM2, BCM8, and battery RVC fuse. I'm going to check all of those. And then in the instrument panel here on inside the driver's side, I'm going to check BCM1 and BCM5 fuses. So I want to see what kind of voltage is going through those. Alright, so I checked BCM 1 and 5 inside of here. They're not blown, and they're both getting 12 volts. I got these probe ends for the end of my fluke meter here. These things are nice because I can touch the very ends of the fuse, and you can tell if they're blown. And then I also checked my voltage right through the backside of the fuse. So here we are. I need to check BCM 4, 3, 2, 8, and the RVC fuse. Let's check the RVC fuse first because I don't remember checking that. It's 5 amps. It's number 45 on here. 45 is right there. I'm trying to figure out the layout right now. It should be underneath. There it is, down there. So it's good and it's not blown. So let me go check the other ones. No blown fuses. 12 volts at all of them. Alright, so I'm looking at some ugly stuff here. One thing I haven't checked on this. Now I'm having no communication with the inflatable restraint sensing diagnostic module. So it's right here. So you click on that and it highlights everything it connects to. So you come over here, power steering control module. It's connected to that. It is connected to the parking brake control module. Connected to the right seat belt retractor, which, yeah, is going to be connected to a lot of stuff in the car. Now, this thing was wrecked before, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe they just unplugged the inflatable restraint sensing diagnostic module, which is under the center console. What else are we connected to here? Suspension control. Really? Then there's another thing. There's a data link connector which also connects all of those, and it is left side of the dash, bottom left side of the dash, a data link connector there, and this 5060 connects to all of those too. So I don't know. There's also a thing under the right side dash, which I haven't got into that side yet. But I do want to get in and see the crash. This is what I'm assuming it's a crash module. So let's make sure it's plugged in. I really don't want to have to tear this whole center console apart again, but I know it's in here somewhere underneath all this. Alright, I can see it. Right there, the yellow connector is going to go to it. And that yellow connector has a zip tie around the connector latch itself. The other one, there's two of them. There's one back in there a little further, and there's no zip tie on that. I don't think that's a factory thing. Don't think they should clip in place. So I'm thinking it's broken, and maybe they might have messed up that connector. I'm just speculating. I don't know, but I'm going to try to get that out of there so I can take a look at it. Well, guys, 9 pages of schematics here. Changed out the human-machine interface module because that's all connected. That didn't do a thing. I still have not got that center console out. I don't know what's holding it in. I'm going to go try to research that. But that's going to be the end of this video. I know. I didn't fix it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix it. But I do need to keep moving on this. So if I don't find it here very shortly, then we're going to go ahead and get into the paint. I'm going to put everything all back together and stuff. And worst case scenario, I'm going to tow this thing to somebody that knows what they're doing. There is a YouTuber that is very close to me. Has a lot more subscribers than me, but he is very, very good at electronics and schematics and all that stuff. Is it Pine Grove Auto? Pine Grove something? Pine Grove is like a half an hour from me, okay? I've never met the guy, but I'm thinking of reaching out to him. So, yeah, this might be the first time I outreach work, but it's worth it on this one if I can't figure it out. And I got this whole car tore apart, and it's just racking my brain. And the thing is, he'll narrow it down to what it is. I can get it off of this car, and then this thing will be good to go. And then I won't have to tear through this thing like I'm doing right now. But if you like this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if your mom wants me to tear apart her interior to find that right spot. And we'll see you on the next episode on Wreck. Yeah? What are you doing on top of the refrigerator? Huh? You're not supposed to be up there. You're cute though. Modernized the kitchen, but it made it darker. Different fan. Look at this thing. Look at that thing. Hi, Stella. How you doing? Huh? Stu man, how are you? Yeah? And the golden child. How are you? Say bye-bye.